Boy, have I got myself into a pickle today, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'm going to be doing the most unholy thing imaginable. Criticize AEW. And my criticisms are not coming from a place of hatred or a place of loyalty of one company over another. I'm giving them these criticisms because I don't think people really understand that the issues they have, AEW, are incredibly blatant, and no one really seems to want to come to terms with that. And I'm just some fucking nobody on the internet, I get that, but I feel like they need to hear it from a voice, a very stern, deep, wonderful voice like my own. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Here are some of the things, or some of the criticisms I have of all Elite Wrestling. First and foremost, I don't think much of their roster has any star power whatsoever. If you can put like 5 wrestlers of their roster, their incredibly inflated roster, including dark guys and all that stuff, I can tell you right now, I probably don't give a fuck about any of them, maybe one, if that, depending on who you put in. The problem with that is this. Their programming is centered heavily towards, just doing wrestling. Like, Dark is like, what, an hour and a half, 2-hour show every week? I stopped watching Dark because it just got boring to watch because it's all squash matches. But that's really what it is. You're not going to give me any personality in a 5 to 7 minute squash match. Even on Dark. And a lot of these guys don't even make it to Dynamite. That's what I was going to say. A lot of these guys don't even make it to Dynamite. And it just, when they do, you can tell they have no TV presence. A lot of them don't. There's really no star power to a lot of these people. And it's kind of sad to say, because there's a lot of them I do like. A lot of the wrestlers that are on AEW, I really enjoy their work. The sad part is I don't see anything in them to make me care about what they're doing. They don't have, sure, some of them have gimmicks, but some of them have gimmicks, some of them are just wrestler guys. And if they're just wrestler guys, yeah, you'll do some cool moves in a match, but why am I going to give a fuck about you after the fact? What did you do storyline-wise? What did you do at all that makes me give a fuck about why I should care about you, or why I should go check out more of your matches, or why I should buy your merch, all that sort of thing. For instance, the Dark Order guys. The Dark Order are fucking great. I would follow anything that those guys do, because from watching them on AEW and the stuff and the storyline they have right now on Dynamite, I find them to be, at least in my opinion, incredibly entertaining. Fucking John Silver, to me, is the crown jewel of that whole fucking group. And even Brody Lee. Brody Lee had incredible star power, in my opinion, because you can just tell he was this big mob boss, incredibly intimidating figure for what these vignettes that they had about him. God bless that man's soul. And his group, his former group, well, they're still his group, but in a way, but they have incredible star power. Even some of the more veteran guys that were in WWE, I don't really care about as much. Rusev, I like Rusev, I really do. I find him, I think he's a cool person. I like his video game shit that I've seen online when I do get the chance to watch it. But when that turns into a gimmick, to me, he just looks like a gigantic, where's he from? Bulgarian nerd, when he should be this fucking monster wanting to annihilate everyone, and we do see glimpses of that, but we don't see it often, and that's the problem. We see more of the nerd Rusev, and not or Miro in this case, and not the murderer, so to speak. And then let's go to the women's roster. The women's roster is another thing I want to talk about. Again, there are a few great stars on the women's roster. A lot of them have really come into their own, even in 2020, like Britt Baker. No one gave a shit about Britt Baker until halfway through 2020, which is kind of sad to say, because I actually have enjoyed her work. But her heel stuff has made her, in my opinion, top tier. And Hikaru Shida, she's incredible. She's incredible, but I think she's held on to the title incredibly too long, and I think that is because they literally have no star power and no real direction with the women's roster to give her a worthy contender. And that really is a sad thing to say. Because there are a lot of women on the roster that should have a shot at the title, but they don't do anything with it. And the other thing is, a lot of their best women on the roster and I mean this wholeheartedly, a lot of their best women on the roster are not even technically signed or weren't originally even signed to their company. And I'm talking about Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb run circles around 80% of AEW women's roster. It's sad to see, in a way, because you can tell a lot of these women, like I said, are not TV ready. And you can tell that a lot of them, their in-ring work are not nearly as tight as it should be. And that is a damn thing. That is a shame to say. It really is. Because again, I really do enjoy women's wrestling. I'm not like a fanatic about it like everyone else is apparently. Like the first negative thing you say about women's wrestling, everyone comes on top of you for it. But I'm going to be honest, in terms of women's wrestling, AEW is not my first choice. NXT is. Even SmackDown is my first choice of women's wrestling. Impact is one of my other choices I would have, because I think the Knockouts roster is stacked and I think they're incredible. And the matches that they put on are fantastic. AEW, I can more or less don't care about outside of a couple of people. A lot of them are pretty faces, but as far as in-ring work goes, don't care. Really do not care. And let's talk about the matches. The type of matches that they put on. I can be straight up honest with you. The booking of AEW Dynamite shows is incredibly fucking weird. Not even weird, it's just incredibly boring. Half of the show is a tag team match of some sort. There's at least 3 to 4 tag team matches a show, and some of them are oftentimes multi-man tag team matches with these insane and crazy spots. I keep fucking putting the word together, excuse me. These insane and crazy spots that requires literally like 8 men to all stand together in hopes of catching this fucking guy diving off the top rope or diving through the ropes. It's all the same shit. I can guarantee you most AEW Dynamite matches are not memorable. And that's the problem. A lot of them are memorable. The Backlot Brawl with the Best Friends in LAX, aka Proud and Powerful, fantastic. It was a great fucking match. You know what else I'm gonna say? What else? John Moxley and Kenny Omega for the AEW title when Kenny won. Great match. Rey Fenix and Kenny Omega. Great fucking match. Outside of those 3 off the top of my head, I can't tell you about a single main event or other match I care about. I'm just being honest. Maybe some tag team matches with like FTR or something, because FTR is a great tag team. Don't care about any of it after the fact. Like, that's a problem. For me, that's a problem. Because if I can't name any fucking match that happened in like the last week, it means it's not memorable. You know why? Because they're all structured the same. Every AEW match I see more or less is all the same shit. And it's really annoying to watch because nothing stands out from anything else. And I feel like a lot of the veteran guys are... I've heard Chris Jericho say on his podcast, like, you know, he has like, when he first started, he had like that old school feel of like putting down guys for like, why the fuck did we hire this guy, or why the fuck did we hire that guy? And then after a while, he was more open-minded to it. But that was more related to gimmick. I feel like he should have that attitude more so in how they structure a match, because I feel like a lot of these people on the show don't look to the veterans, the veterans of whether it's Cody or Chris Jericho or any of them, to like really, how do I say, they don't look to them for guidance on stuff on how to like do in-ring work psychology. And I hate to use all these insider terms, but that's how I'm trying to get my argument across, by having to use them. I hate having to use them because it comes off like a mark and I fucking hate it. But all in all, it's the truth, you know? There's no rhyme or reason to a lot of what these matches do. And now that I'm thinking about it, the Bunkhouse Brawl with the Natural Nightmares and Butcher and Blade was also fucking great too. That was another match I remember, but that was months ago. I mean, I can't really tell you much of, other than like maybe Rey and Kenny, I can't really tell you like any fucking match this year that has really piqued my interest. Maybe besides the Falls Count Anywhere match that happened a couple weeks ago with Archer and Moxley and Kenta and Kenny. That's me. That's just me. And last but certainly not least, I think the one thing that is a criticism of AEW, in my opinion, and I'll try and make this short and sweet as possible, is the fan base. The fan base is incredibly fucking toxic. I think wrestling fans in general are more or less toxic. I try and steer away from that, or at least the ones I deem that to be toxic. But AEW fans are like a whole different breed of shit that I don't think I've ever fucking seen before. Like, the second you criticize them, and I guarantee I'll probably get criticisms for this match, for what I'm, or not this video, for what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is more or less the truth. I just can't help but feel that a lot of what they do really rubs newer fans of the product like the wrong way, and I feel like it gives the newer fans an opinion of the overall fan base where it's like, why the fuck would I want to be a part of this if I can't even criticize the product and try and make it better? Because that's really all this video is. I want the product to be better. That's why I'm making this video. But they'll just constantly shit on literally everything every other company does, and it's okay. Meanwhile, their company, AEW, is still clinging on to the same high 700,000 and low 800,000 number every single week. Because, you know why? They're not bringing in new fans. And I don't want to hear this bullshit about the argument that's always used about, oh, the demographics. The demographics matter. Here's what I feel about the demographics. Shove them up your ass. Because no normal person in wrestling, because what they should do is cater to casuals. They cater too much to hardcore fans. They don't cater enough to more, so to speak, casual fans. No one gives a fuck in the end about ratings. No one gives a fuck in the end about demographics. I leave that for the people in charge of that sort of thing. The TV networks, the advertisers, etc. If you use the demographics for a reason why one show is better than the other, when you still can't break 1 million viewers every week, that's not a compliment, that's an excuse. At least that's how it comes off to me. So, at the end of the day, those are just some of the criticisms I have of AEW, its product, as well as its fan base. I hope to see that things will be better for them in the future, but I'm not too sure, and I may touch on that one day in the future. Who knows? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, have a good one.